Listen up, y'all. NutriBurst is the quickest way to get your multivitamins into your bloodstream on a daily basis. The absorption rate on liquid is far greater than that of pills or capsules. Drop down in the description box, click the link to purchase this and other fine products with your big ass. Baby, when I tell you Wendy cleared that room out, Wendy cleared that MF out. Do y'all want to talk about it? Here it goes. Nessa girl, it's something going on with my voice and my hearing, so y'all bear with me if my pitch and tone change, if I get, my hearing kind of came back. Bitch got me over here feeling like Foxy Brown or whatever, but don't worry, mine ain't from untreated gonorrhea. Nevertheless, baby, did y'all get into this last episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac? It was my birthday weekend, so this video was late, but baby, now that I'm sober and coherent and hydrated and back on the train tracks, I'm ready to drive this MF, but here it go. Y'all know that Wendy ain't necessarily been one of my favorite people on this show, but I gained a new level of respect for Wendy, how she cleared that room and cleared it out. When it comes to people like Gizelle, oftentimes you have to get their ass together in order for them to leave you the hell alone. And Wendy showed her exactly who she was, baby, and she's not the one. I can't wait to talk about it, but let's just go in order of the doggone show. I don't even remember what happened at the beginning. So, they all having breakfast or whatever. Karen and Skylar and Mia and whoever else was over in that damn house, Wendy, come over. And they sit down at the table eating, and Gizelle decides to take Robyn outside to talk to her about her, presumable depression or whatever the case may be. Now, part of me feels like she just didn't want to sit there at the table with Karen. I'm going to tell you something. This Gizelle and Karen thing, it definitely is reaching a Dr. Jackie and Simone level with me in terms of I'm just tired of them going back and forth. Like, at this point, let's just decide that we not friends, and so that we don't have any expectations from one another, so everything is fair game, because it's starting to get old, episode after episode. But she takes Robyn outside to talk to her, or whatever the case may be. And, I definitely think as a friend, she did do the right thing, talking to Robyn, just trying to gauge what was going on with Robyn. And, it's weird because I remember what I felt when the first episode of Potomac I saw season 1. Robyn was like my favorite. I liked Robyn a lot because in those moments she came off very real, authentic, like the around the way girl or whatever. But what Robyn has morphed into and what she's showing lately, I don't like. And a lot of it, granted, I know depression can cause people to be unmotivated, but a lot of it just sounds like Robyn being sorry and just being damn lazy. And I'm not a doctor, I may be wrong, so I'm gonna leave that alone and leave it at that. Karen shares with Ashley her experience with Gizelle at the table and what was going on. Here's my thing with Ashley. I can't gauge if Ashley is doing what she needs to do to make good TV, or if she's just likes to meddle in people's business, because you were not there the night before. So even with Karen and Gizelle both sharing with you what it is that was going on, you should not have had as high of stakes in the conversation as you did. But Karen shares with Ashley that Gizelle was going around the table and bam, 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 everyone. And I'm trying to see, do I feel like Gizelle was bullying everybody or attacking everybody, And I don't know that I feel that's what she was doing at the table. What I will say is I think that, and what makes Gizelle look bad is that she is spewing out levels of truth about other people's business and requesting levels of information about other people's business that she is unwilling to spew out about her own self or unwilling to divulge in great detail with her own relationship. And that's what makes it look a little one-sided coming from Gizelle. I think if Gizelle was a bit more transparent and a bit more honest, then people could receive her as being a bit more genuine as she, asks questions about people's businesses and makes statements about their relationship. Ashley and Gizelle talk about Wendy. And Gizelle shares, that maybe we don't believe it, but maybe, this is why she is sprucing herself up for her husband. A lot of y'all may not understand why Wendy is as upset as she is. And from being around the reality TV girls and being friends with them, I'm going to explain to you clearly and succinctly why Wendy is mad. Gizelle kept, because what we're having right now is an enmeshment of the fourth wall, right? On camera, Gizelle is saying, we're not gossiping about you. We don't believe it. We're even defending it, saying it's not true. Breaking the fourth wall. Wendy's entire issue is that if you were a decent woman and a decent friend and had any type of moral compass about yourself, then you would not have spoke about this on a televised platform, period. That is Wendy's issue. Whether it's true or false has nothing to do with anything and everything to do with the fact that this now alters the reputation of my marriage. It puts these thoughts in people's minds. Now you got this circulating out in the atmosphere, and then the way these reality TV shows tend to skew. Now that you have made this part of the storyline, we're about to spend 4 or 5 episodes exploring if my husband is cheating on me, which is going to then drive social media to, well, we saw her doing this and we saw Eddie over there. And that is why Wendy is upset. And you know what? I do get it. Because the other thing that these ladies go through on these shows is figuring out, are we friends in real life or are we just co-workers? And I think Wendy's position is, okay, Gizelle, if we're supposed to be a group of girlfriends or getting to know one another or growing to be Sex in the City for black people, why would you do this? Like, you would not want somebody to bring the most embarrassing information about your relationship to the show if it doesn't have to be there. And that is the whole point. And that is why Wendy is upset. Wendy is upset on a cellular level. She is mad because she's like, I see you for who you are. And you know what? When you just think about it on a human level, show aside, it is low down. But then there's also the psychological conundrum that all of these ladies are put in, which is making a good show. There's also the fact that, okay, this is supposed to be reality TV, and this is happening in real life. And in real life, girlfriends would sit down and talk about this. So what do? You know what I'm saying? But I think because Gizelle has shown other unscrupulous behaviors in the past, people find it very difficult to give her the benefit of the doubt, even when her intentions are not malicious. Just my 2 cents. So at the lunch table, Ashley gets the conversation started about Gizelle saying she had no substance. And here's the thing that bothered me so much about Ashley, and which tends to bother me about Ashley. When Wendy was talking, for a moment at the table, it became Ashley, Gizelle, and Robyn against Wendy. Ashley, you weren't even present. So you have no frame of reference for how it was intended, how it was meant, what her tone was. All you have is what Karen said, and all you have is what Gizelle said. And you were just too invested in it for your ass to not have been there. I didn't understand that. And then, you know, Mia, you chimed in, and it's so funny because we see people come onto this show, and for whatever reason, they cannot shake the desire to want to be aligned with Robyn and Gizelle. They just can't shake the desire. It's the Evelyn Lozada effect and Shani O'Neal effect all over again. Women come into this group and they vie to be accepted by this Gizelle corner of the damn group. That was Monique's downfall, and it's about to be Mia's downfall. And Candiace, while your ass is a little uncomfortable with Karen and Ashley at the moment, your ass is going to soon see, as soon as they finish going round robin and they ain't got nobody else to pick on, the shit's going to circle right back around to your ass too. So if I was you, I wouldn't get too comfortable over there with them damn heifers. And here's the other thing that's throwing me. And I was going to save this commentary for later. Well, I will save it for later where it goes. Now, Mia, here's the thing. You can downplay. I will say this. When Mia chimed in at the table, she did raise a very valid point. All right. She did raise a very valid point. She said, you know, Victoria's Secret makes sexy things. They also make regular outfits too, and you don't see none of us dressed sexy. Wendy's behavior is uncharacteristic of the Wendy that we met. Okay? Ashley made some very poignant commentary when she said last year, Wendy leaned on, I'm a professor, I'm a CNN contributor. It was her sole identity. All right? So yes, it is off brand for Wendy to now be this super sexy glamazon. Now, does it mean she can't evolve? No, absolutely not. All right? But what we not finna do is sit here and act like Gizelle and Robyn and everybody else who has observed this change in Wendy. We're not going to act like they're crazy, because they're not crazy. Wendy was uber conservative, and she told the line of what a college professor should be. Now, all of this, you know, can I be sexy and can I be a professor? Yes, you can. But you were never presented to us as the sexy professor. You was presented to us as the buttoned up professor. So Wendy is also going to have to make an allowance and give people time to catch up and wrap their heads around this new Wendy. There has been a change in dynamics in our relationship. We're not used to you being, you know what I'm saying, the fashioned out, labeled out, body titty girl. And I think that that would make anybody slightly uncomfortable, and any friend pause when you see a change that is so drastic and on the opposite end of the spectrum of that person's personality. Gizelle is not crazy for the observation that she's making. Now, is she wrong for what she's trying to tie it to? I mean, possibly. It could simply be, bitch, I was tired of having a flat ass and droopy titties. And it could be that simple. It does not have to go all the way as far as to being tied to maybe because the husband cheating, or maybe because the blog article, maybe because of this. You putting too much dip on your chip, Gizelle. But we're not going to act like we have not observed a change. I don't know if y'all have ever been around people who have had body sculpting work done, but you know, it ain't uncommon. I done been around a lot of the girls that get the work done and they start feeling themselves, okay? And what Wendy is doing right now is feeling herself, and she's flaunting her body. This is the thing, though. What's disingenuous and what bothers me so much is Wendy trying to be so poetic about it. So poetic about it. I can be this and I can be that and I can be this. Well, all she gotta do is look them bitches in their face and say, bitch, I got a new body. I am feeling my beats and I feel the need to flaunt it until the novelty of me having this new body wears off. It honestly deads the whole thing. Oh, bitch, we got it. We can wrap our head around it now. The bitch feeling herself. She's a brand new woman. And it's just so funny because people don't understand, you know, conscious and subconscious communication and wavelength communication and spiritual communication. And you can say what you want to say out your mouth all day long. But there is a level of communication as human beings that we do spirit to spirit on an energy level that is more powerful than the words that will ever come out of anybody's mouth. And the communication that they're getting on an energy level and the words coming out of Wendy's mouth are not in alignment. And that is why this body stuff has become such an issue, because it's not making sense for people. The case is not closed after they have one conversation. It still isn't making sense, and people want it to make sense. If Wendy would just be brutally honest and make it make sense and stop trying to go around the world in Ayaya and Maya Angelou's voice and be so poetic about it, it really would dead the whole thing. Yes, y'all, I changed because I got a new body and I'm feeling my beats. Case closed. Mia then chimes in. While Mia made a very valid point, Mia, I'm going to need you to do the same discovery that I just told Wendy. You don't want none of the negative connotation that came along with being a stripper, but bitch, you were a stripper. Okay? You were a stripper. You want to play a game of semantics. Oh, you know, mine wasn't, you didn't take the bottoms off, or you didn't take the tops off, or, you know, I didn't get naked, or they went. Bitch, you worked at a club where they have blackout curtains on the windows because what was going on the inside was not good enough. I mean, was not wholesome enough to be seen by the outside. You was a sex worker. You was a sex worker. And because yours sold lobster and shrimp and steak, and the other girls on sell Newports and Hennessy, don't make you any better, baby. Okay, you are in the same damn category. You might have worked at a nicer place doing the same nasty ass job. Okay, catch them T's. Nicer place doing the same nasty ass job. Think you better than because yours sold steak and lobster. And I'm going to tell you something that was hard for me to grapple, because I got some friend girls that were strippers. And another stripper told me this. If they work there long enough, they've had paid for sex too. Okay? That's what goes on in them damn places. You ain't fooling no damn body. Especially when you talk about you were doing it to provide for your children. Well, if you was doing it to provide for your children, that somewhat suggests that you was desperate. And desperate times call for what? Desperate measures. And I keep telling y'all this, and everybody keep trying to say, money ain't everything. Everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. You don't sold some paid for a kitty cat. You don't sold some, so cut it out with the act. Okay, you were a young, beautiful girl, and you went and met this old ass man in this damn strip club, and he put you in position. True tea. That's where it starts and stops. The whiskey tasting. Robyn chugs all that damn whiskey. Then Ashley takes Wendy outside, reveals what's going on. Wendy comes back in and clears the room. Here's what I don't understand. Wendy was talking to Gizelle for the most part. But do y'all notice that Robyn always finds a way to find her face planted dead smack in the middle of Gizelle's coochie? Robyn can probably tell us more about Gizelle's coochie than Gizelle, Jamal, and the gynecologist can, because her face is always in it. And here's what's funny, and I'm not using this because we're unlearning behaviors, and I'm not calling Robyn this word in an attempt to weaponize the word and shame her. But I honestly think Robyn is a lesbian. Because Robyn has more emotional response, more emotional defense, more emotional investment in Gizelle than she has ever expressed in Juan. It's almost as if she comes to Gizelle's defense the way a man would if a mugger was mugging his girlfriend. There is something in her subconscious that makes her operate from such a visceral place when it comes to Gizelle. She can't, kind of like Essie and that other lady on them damn bells of Mississippi bells or whatever on. Robyn cannot stand to see Gizelle in any type of distress without her having to come be the big broad back knight in shining armor, and it is becoming, quite frankly, disgusting to watch. Like, I want to see you have the same emotional response to your husband, to Juan, and you don't. Juan, you honestly need to check that. And it really is starting to feel like they probably are not going to make it to the altar. Juan looks like he's checked out, quiet as it is kept. Now, Wendy came back in the room after having that conversation with Ashley, and she was upset, and she cleared that motherfucker out. And if you didn't know, you now know. And I'm going to tell you one thing where I relate to Wendy. And I'm going to give y'all another level of how to read a bitch to the ground. Number one, you have to be intellectual. But number two, in order to truly cut a bitch, you have to have a very, very high level of emotional intelligence. And Wendy was able to cut her as deeply as she did because Wendy understands emotional intelligence and has a very high level of it. When I tell you, she put Gizelle in her motherfucking place. And I can assure you, when Gizelle laid her head to her pillow, she felt that battle blow. She felt it. She felt it. Robyn felt it. That's why Robyn felt the need to jump in. She felt it. Karen felt it. Escala felt it. Mia was taken aback because Wendy served that motherfucker. She served it. She served it. She served it. And she said, gloves are off now, bitch. If you want to go, let's go. What was troubling for me and even more triggering and infuriating is they showed the clip leading into next week's episode. And now Robyn is talking about who won't be at my wedding and she won't be at my shower and she won't be at this. And it's like, once again, why are you so mad? And like Candiace said, you got beef by association. It's just sickening, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I almost want to see Robyn not return from the show so that can be broken up and Gizelle be left to fend for herself and it not be this Mean Girls Club that her and Robyn have over here in the damn corner, and just this blind support that Robyn gives to Gizelle and can't see past any of Gizelle's wrongs. Now listen, Candiace is very smart, right? And you have to be smart in order to be super shady with the things that comes out of your mouth, because Candiace is serving all the shade in her confessionals. When she said, Mia, she said, sweetie, you were a stripper with your big feet. And they zoomed at that damn lady feet. I said to myself, that's why people want to beat Candiace ass up, but I'm not going to lie. I smirked, I chuckled because the shit is funny. The shit was funny. I'm not going to lie. Here's what I had an issue with. Candiace made it her business to go in that kitchen and say something to Ashley. And Candiace, you were looking for it. You're still mad with Ashley. Candiace was looking for a reason to say something to Ashley. Ashley is doing what Ashley does. This ain't new. And honestly and truthfully, Candiace, you're not old enough or absent from conflict enough on this show or at this time to even be in a position to begin to check or question someone's behavior. You're just not that girl. You don't have the respect in the group. You don't have the tenure in life. And you don't have the absence of conflict in order to be in that position. You should have just sat your ass the fuck down and let Ashley collect that messy ass breast milk, passing all that messy ass DNA down to her children and put in that damn igloo cooler and go on about her business. But you made it a point to go in there and start conflict with her. And that wasn't yours to do. Because the reality of the situation is this group of girls gossips. It's what they do. And Gizelle's ass was wrong. And you want to paint it as you're taking it on as if it's Ashley that caused all this commotion. Now, granted, she turned the heat up on some tension that was already there. But the root cause of it was Gizelle Bryant and the foul that she committed by bringing this shit up. And here's the funny thing. Bitch, I am the blogs. And I didn't even get a hold of this Wendy and Eddie situation. It didn't even come across my purview. And here's the other thing. Why it also didn't get any legs. No tea, no shade. Wendy's celebrity just has not made it there yet. No one cares in the grand scheme of celebrity. No one really cares about Wendy. Like if Wendy disappeared from the show today or tomorrow, there would be no petition to bring Wendy back. Like she's there. She's a character. We recognize her presence, but Wendy's presence is not felt. Now on this episode it was, but if you completely went back right now and erased every one of Wendy's scenes from this show, it would still go round with no problem. Her presence is of no consequence to this damn show until this last episode. Good way to go, baby girl. But, with the absence of conflict, Wendy is going to return to being boring ass damn Wendy. Her mama is more interesting than Wendy is, quiet as it is kept. Y'all, that is the Real Housewives of Potomac. I will say, now, Wendy made the comment about, this man cheating on you all across whatever with everybody. You choose to bring him around your daughters. Well, I mean, that is their daughter's dad, Wendy. So that one was a little out of bounds. But I could see you saying you chose to get back with him. You know what I'm saying? And the reality of the situation is, whether we can prove it or back it up or not, Jamal has made a fool out of Gizelle again. Lack of effort, lack of trying, and still, why is there always rumors coming out about you cheating or doing something unscrupulous? And the thing about it is, even if Jamal isn't, there is something that you were doing or something that you were moving, some way that you were moving in the streets that makes it easy for people to say this and believe it. Here's the other thing too. I want Gizelle to take back her power. Because I find it strange and I find it odd that in 2021 we still reading women about having a man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nobody. You ain't got nobody. having a man and having a relationship is not everyone's desire. Now, in this instance, it is Gizelle's desire, so I guess it is a suitable read against Gizelle. But this whole so quick to say somebody ain't got a man or somebody ain't got a relationship, everybody don't want one. Just food for thought. Y'all drop down in the comments and let's talk about this thing. I'm gonna probably have to watch Huntsville when I get back from the gym, but y'all will get that video today too. It's 7:48. I got to be to the gym at 10. They may not give me enough time to watch it and record it, but y'all will definitely get it today. I'll call you back. Bye.